it started raining over here, and usually I take my dog outside to like hang out and throw the ball and that kind of stuff, but it started raining, so I wasn't able to take him outside. Now he's a little restless. So, hey. Oh my goodness. Have you guys seen everything that's going on with Gypsy within the last couple of days? There has been so much. I wanted to talk first a little bit about some of the videos that she's posting online. I put in my video that I just posted that you can definitely tell that she is spiraling out of control. Like she is definitely, that looks better. Okay. She is definitely like trying to do a lot of things to get attention. I didn't even see the tweets. I don't have Twitter or X or whatever the fuck it is. So I don't see her tweets, and because she has me blocked on TikTok, the only way I'm able to see anything that she posts is if somebody screen records it for me, or if I see it posted on like another social platform. Like sometimes some creators will screen record whatever she's doing on TikTok, and they'll post it to like YouTube or whatever. And so I'm able to see it that way. But unless somebody else is, thank you for liking the live. Make sure you're double tapping the screen, everyone. So unless I see it on YouTube, there's literally no way for me to know what's going on. But I am in like several groups on Facebook that, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm good. I am in some groups on Facebook that share content about, what she's doing and that sort of thing. So I can also see it through those groups. And I saw I'm going to have to, oh shoot, where's my other phone? I'm going to have to go grab my other phone. I saw, a post that she made. Somebody commented on the post and then she responded. Normally she doesn't respond a lot to comments on social media. She'll just like leave up the good comments and leave it at that. She usually never responds. But she responded to this one. So I'm going to go grab my other phone so that we can see what this was. I hope everyone's doing okay and everyone's had a good day. I am so behind on everything that she's been doing. Thank you so much for liking the live. Keep double tapping the screen. Thank you so much. I'm so behind because I've had a lot of like personal things going on. So I didn't even watch the show until Tuesday, and then I got banned. So then we watched it last night. And I'm just now like starting to catch up with everything. Let me go grab my other phone really quick. I'm never ready. I'm like always doing stuff. So I feel like I'm never fully prepared for anything. My schedule is like always so busy. It'll be so nice to like get some time off. Okay. Whoa! We went on a little roller coaster ride. Straighten that up. Okay. And I was watching the documentary on Netflix, Bad Influence, about the child influencers. So I was really like interested in that. Did anyone else see it? I'm going to make a whole entire video on that because I know for a fact that Piper Raquel's mother, Tiffany, is a fucking narcissist. Her voice just drives me crazy. Let me see if I can pull up the screenshot. Okay. So basically, you know that video that she had made yesterday or the day before where she's like trying to do a dance to that Tate McRae song, Car Ride or something like that. I don't know the thank you, Kelly. I don't know the name of the song because I don't really listen to Tate McRae, but she's trying to do like a dance trend. And somebody wrote, "Can't dance, loser." And she writes, "You act as if I don't know that. Maybe if I didn't have a messed up childhood and went to high school and was treated right, I may have learned to dance. But oh, yeah, I didn't. Kindly shut the fuck up." With a face. So I want to break this down to you really quickly. She acts like she's unable to learn anything as an adult. Like everything that people say that she's unable to do, she acts like she should have learned how to do that as a teenager. You learn different things as you get older, and you learn different things based on whatever your interests are. I do kindly recall that during her Kaylin Lowry podcast, she said that she would get up and play music and dance. I can try to find it, but I'm pretty certain, almost 100% certain, that she said during that podcast that she would get up and she would play music and she would dance, and that was how she kind of unwound or whatever. And yeah. And then I also want to say, like, take some accountability for your actions now. You remember that, right, Kelly? She said that, right? I'm not imagining things. Take some accountability for your actions now. Like, if you want to learn how to dance, just learn how to dance. It doesn't matter how old you are. Whenever I was like 8, 10, 12, 13, I loved dancing. And I will be honest and say, I have not danced since then because one person made fun of me for dancing, and that was all it took. Completely ruined my confidence, and I have not danced since. I loved dancing though. That was one of my favorite things to do when I was a kid. I would be out at the pool and I would be like going crazy just dancing without a care in the world. I just danced to every song. I had so much energy. I loved people watching me dance. Like, I was a little performer. And I miss those times because I like allowed these idiots to kind of get in my head, and it forced me to stop. But as a 42-year-old, if I wanted to start dancing again, I could learn just as easily as I did whenever I was 8. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you have to do is put in some effort into something that you want, and you will get it. But all she does is put effort into the negative drama on social media and stuff like that. Like, why does she always revert to, oh, well, I didn't learn that, so that's why I'm not good at anything. I had a messed up childhood, and I wasn't allowed to like she blames everything on her past as if she's unable to have any sort of real growth in life. And hey Ariel, hey Amy, and you can grow. You can grow and you can grow away from your past, but it doesn't seem like she wants to do that. She wants to continue to rely on this past narrative of abuse, because otherwise if she excels at anything, then she can't garner sympathy from this bullshit, 15-year-old story, 20-year-old story, whatever the fuck. And it's really annoying. Hey Karen, it's really annoying for this type of behavior. And then for her to be like, kindly shut the fuck up. And it's like, bitch, you're the one who approved this comment. She was the one who approved the comment. She's got it to where you have, like, she no comments are approved unless she manually approves them. Imagine how tiring that is. Like, that's got to be like a full-time job, approving comments, because who has the time to do that? That's what I was talking about, Renee. Hey Care Bear. Okay, so I think that that whole tweet that she made was basically to get attention. I have not heard anyone on social media. I haven't seen anything from anyone that would indicate that anyone has threatened her child. And if that were true, instead of posting something on social media about it, why not call the police? If it's true. If somebody really did like threaten to harm your child, call the cops. Why are you running to social media? Social media isn't going to help you if it's really true. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's really true, exactly. Why are you running? Like, nobody did that. If it's really true, call the police, ask the police to like do whatever they do to find the IP address, whatever. Like, there's ways that the police can find to figure out, like, if somebody truly sent her a message wishing harm on Aurora, which I don't think happened, but if it really did happen, the police have ways to find out. Okay, good. The police have ways to find out like where the threat came from, which she should know because she was the one who was posting at Nicholas's house that, I fucking slashed that fat bitch's throat and raped her sweet young daughter, and they found her from those posts. So like, she should know that the police can find you or find whomever if somebody is actually threatening you or somebody in your family. I follow them. Maybe I should go and check it out. Yeah, she continues to manifest drama over and over and over again. And it's clear she doesn't want to learn and grow and like be a better person. She wants to stay stuck in this drama filled tension because she likes it. So she lied and said that the book giveaway wasn't her, but it was. You can't trust anything she says. Yeah, I do believe that too, Nico. I believe she filters the comments to hide her fans from seeing comments they might question. Yeah, looking for a hobby. How about learn to cook? How about learn how to use all the baby things that you have to use? How about learn how to, be a better human, like self growth? How about learn how to be an actual loving, caring parent that is emotionally attached to their child? Like, she only wants people to think that people are looking at her in a positive way. It's very narcissistic and very manipulative. Very manipulative. I think she's always looking for sympathy. I think that that's why she did that like bloopers video where she like hit her foot on the wall. Gypsy is known for acting sick, hurt, and like a child in order to garner attention and sympathy. So it's not unusual to start to see those behavior patterns starting to arise again. While she was in prison, she was shielded from the outside world. Now she's back in society and it's feeling like she's starting to do the exact same things that she was doing before she was arrested, the things that she was getting in trouble with for being online, doing, behind her mother's back. Yeah, who we're seeing now is who she actually is. She's been masking for the last year. And slowly her personality is starting to come out a little bit more and more, and you can see like some of the little passive aggressive comments, um the little violent kind of weird comments that she makes about evilness and those types of things. Like that's who she is at her core. Hey Jody, I'm good. How are you? It's been a long time since I've seen you. Yeah, because she was up dancing around. That's why she didn't lose muscle mass. Yes, Gypsy has very calculating, obsessive compulsive behavior. We are talking about Gypsy. Oh, you're at work. Damona's coming out, Care Bear. She's out. Damona is out in full swing, and so is Ruby. So there was a part in her first book where she made a comment about how her mother had seven personalities and one of them didn't like Gypsy. And I don't ever believe that her mother had multiple personalities. I believe Gypsy does. I have said this for an entire year. I believe Gypsy has multiple personalities. Do I think that it's dissociative disorder? I don't know because I don't know much about that. But why else would she not remember certain things that she said? Why else would she be able to like tell stories and then 5 seconds later or 5 minutes later tell a completely different story? You know what I mean? Like, if to me it feels like, thank you. I am TikTok Hannah. Thank you. To me, it feels like she is different people. Like, what was that movie? What was that movie? What was that movie? With the guy that had the multiple personalities. I can't remember his name. But I feel like that's who she is. Yes, Sybil, but there was another one, a more recent film that talked about multiple personalities. I can't remember the name of it. Split. Yes, thank you, Amanda. Thank you. That's what it was. It was Split. Um that movie, I do think that she's borderline as well. It was kind of scary, but a little funny in a way. It was like I think it was more of like a thriller type movie. It was good though. It was really good. I watched it, several times in a row because I just really enjoyed it. I'm borderline. Like, I think my son is borderline. I'm not picking on borderlines. I think that she has a lot of different psychological issues going on because she's a sociopath. And I think that when you are a sociopath like she is, there's other mental illnesses, dragging along in there as well. I don't think she's all sociopath and, narcissistic. I think that there's more. I think that she has OCD. I think she probably has borderline. I think that there's a lot of things that are going on with her, which is why it's so important that she get the psychological help that she needs. You know, Otherwise, something bad is going to happen. And I can foresee something bad happening because she's not taking her mental health seriously, and we're starting to see the repercussions of that. I don't know what her life was like in prison, but when you are in prison, you're not able to really like have freedoms to say the things that you want, do the things that you want, talk to the people that you want. You're confined, you're restricted. She's not anymore. She's not restricted anymore. And this lack of restriction is, what is the best way for me to say this? The lack of restriction is causing her to, I don't want to say spiral out of control because that's what everyone else is. I think it's causing her to self destruct, but she doesn't see it as self destruction. Yeah, she definitely has a lot of anger issues. Yeah, and it's triggering. Imagine being, say a kid who didn't really get to experience much of the outside world, say, a preacher's child or something like that. And then all of a sudden you're 18, you're living on your own, you want to experience all these different things, and you just go like buck fucking wild, experiencing everything, being, sexual with everyone. And I think that that's what's happening right now. She's trying to experience everything in a short period of time, almost like she's trying to make up for lost time because she was so sick before. Now she's healthier. So she's able to do a little bit more than she was able to do in the past. Yeah, she does think that she's untouchable, but she's not. She's not untouchable. Like, her shit is about to come crumbling down. Was A Beautiful Mind about schizophrenia? I I think that, what's the difference between schizophrenia and multiple personality? Does anyone know? Let me look it up. Okay, so schizophrenia is where you have voices in your mind. Right. I know they're two different things. That's why I'm asking what are the main differences? Because remember in that one documentary, Gypsy said that her mother had multiple personalities and that one didn't like Gypsy and wanted Gypsy dead or wanted Dee Dee dead or something along those lines. What did it say? Hold on. I'm going to look it up in the book. Give me a second. I think she said that her mom had multiple personalities and that one didn't like Gypsy and wanted Gypsy DEAD. I'm going to try to find it in the book just so that I can make sure that that's what. And I think she does say some things for shock factor, but I also think that some of the things that she says are actually based in some fact. Not everything. We have to it's kind of like deciphering through the lies to try to figure out what's the truth. Here it is. She says, growing up with a mom who had schizophrenia. So she's basically saying that her mother had schizophrenia. Okay. So she says, growing up with a mom who had schizophrenia, who saw shapes and shadows and heard voices, I felt like my mom had a judgment of me. When she would be listening to the voices in her head, she told me there are 8 voices in my head and 7 of them don't like you. I thought being as clean as possible would get her to accept me, but by the time we got to Springfield, we were back to being Catholic. Okay, so I thought that it was just one personality, but here she's saying that it was 7 personalities that didn't like Gypsy and wanted Gypsy DEAD. In, I believe, Prison Confessions, I believe one of the first episodes, she says that it was one personality that didn't like her mom and that she saw her mother standing on a ladder or something, and that she imagined what it would be like if her mother fell from the ladder and DIED. She's admitting right here to 8, Nico, 8 personalities. 7, which she says does not like Gypsy. So I think that right here, she's got a little bit of schizophrenia mixed in with DID in the same situation because schizophrenia, we just communicated all that together that's like hearing voices and seeing the purple people eater type shit and hearing voices in your head. But if it's multiple personalities, can somebody who is schizophrenic also have multiple personalities in their head? Like, is that a thing? Does anyone know if that's something that could actually happen? Hey, Harrietta. I do think that she's playing roles. Okay, I think we did this before whenever I was reading the book before, but she has Ruby, Demona, Kitty, Candy, What was the other one? That's only 4. Gypsy makes 5 because we do have to count that. I don't know that all of those were cosplay, Karen. Oh, did I say Ruby? There might be some that she's not telling us about. So Gypsy, Ruby, Kitty, Candy. Did I say Demona? That's still only 5. Oh, Bella, the snow princess. That's 6. And Snow Gypsy, Snow, that's 7. So you can have schizophrenia and DID at the same time. I didn't know that. Oh, yes, Bella Rose. I didn't know that. I didn't know that you could have both. So that's interesting to find out that you can have both. I do think that there is like a fine line between what's real and what's imagined, what's fantasy, right? I think that she enjoys living outside of reality. I mean, we all see that. She enjoys not being here, in the present. I don't know. That's a good question. I do think that she projects a lot as well, Phoenix. I do. She does hate the routine of life. She hates being bored, and her getting out into these characters is a way for her to escape her own reality. That's why I said in my last video that now that she has gotten everything that she wanted, the baby, Ken, the house, all of that, you hear her complaining about being a mom, being a caretaker, having to take care of the dog. You hear her complaining about those things. She's already bored with it. She's ready to move on to the next thing. And it's like with a child, you're not going to be able to move on to the next thing. The baby's only 3 months old. I knew that she would get bored after 3 months. It's a pattern. She got bored with Ryan after only 3 months. It's not unrealistic to follow her patterns to figure out what it's going to be next. She's either going to try to get rid of Parker or she's going to talk Ken into shaving his hair off. The fantasy is definitely not what she thought it was going to be. It's a lot more responsibility to have and actually take care of a child. Kimber, go lay down. Go lay down. Come on. Lay down. Good boy. It's a lot of responsibility to take care of a child. Where did you see that, Phoenix? I don't remember that text. Thank you for liking the live, Skippy. Yeah, it will still shed, even if they shave it. Sadly, some people do shave double coated dogs, and it doesn't make them not shed. They just shed little teeny tinier hairs. So I definitely believe that Ken needs to seek the advice of an attorney. I don't think she should ever be alone with the baby or the dog. I think that Gypsy is highly dangerous, and her being alone with any living creature, baby, human, dog, rat, mouse, snake, whatever the fuck, she is dangerous and she will likely hurt any sort of living animal or human or anything. I don't think that she should be allowed to be around anything that breathes life. I would be shocked if she was able to keep a plant alive. Someone asked to see the dog. I bet it was outside. Now that they have that fenced in yard, I bet she puts that dog outside the second Ken leaves for work and doesn't let him back in until it's time to eat. She's going to end up killing that dog because it's hot in Louisiana. Thank you so much for the gifts. She's going to end up killing that dog because it gets hot in Louisiana, and unless like have a shaded tree for the dog to like lay under and have like a ton of water for the dog outside, they're they're not going to be okay being outside for you know many hours on end without coming back into the climate controlled air. The South is brutal for dogs, and dogs can overheat just like humans can. That's what I'm saying. I know that she was complaining um about Parker and about his hair and about how she's vacuuming like every day, and it's like, do you not know what the fuck a husky is? You got a tattoo of a husky to match your boyfriend's husky, and you don't even know that they shed? Like, how dumb are you? Why would you put a husky on your body and not know anything about them? Yeah, once she made that first comment, I said the same thing. I can see Gypsy trying to make Ken get rid of the dog, but that's his dog. So instead of like getting rid of him right away, she's complaining about him, making Ken's life miserable, complaining about his dog. I'm sure she's passive aggressively, talking about how much she's having to clean up the hair to Ken, you know? And it's like, you're sitting at home all day. What the fuck else are you doing? Why do you care so much about vacuuming up the dog hair? All you're doing is sitting the fuck at home. I think that the next thing that she's going to be interested in doing is getting attention from other men. She mentioned in the show that her and Ken were not really being intimate anymore with one another. And I think that she is starting to look for other avenues of male attention because he's not giving it to her like she wants. And I think that the reason why he's not giving her the attention that she wants is because he's trying to stay, as far away from her emotionally as he possibly can, while still maintaining the relationship so that he's able to, remain in his daughter's life. I don't think that he's stupid. I think that he understands that Gypsy will try to keep the baby away from him. I do think that he knows that. I'm pretty sure that his mother has probably spoke to him about that. Raina took blame for what? For what? What did I miss? I don't think it was Raina. I think Raina was trying to be nice and didn't want to throw Gypsy under the bus. I think Gypsy let the dog out. Absolutely. Let the dog out. I think that that was her way of trying to get rid of the dog because she doesn't want Ken to have anything that she feels like he loves more than her. That's how narcissists are. And she is going to continue to emotionally abuse him and isolate him and make him feel like less than as long as she is with him. And if he even thinks about giving his attention to anything else other than her, she's going to make his life hell because that's what they do. Yes, social media is definitely like a hot topic for Gypsy. She sees social media um as real life because that's where she garners all the attention. That's where she gets all of her narcissistic supply from the internet. I didn't see that. Thank you for the follow, Bridget. I didn't see that. Nico, was that in last week's episode? I missed it. Karen, I thought it was really weird that she wanted to hide the phones as well, but I have a feeling that the reason why she wanted to hide the phones was because she wanted to secretly go and look at his phone to see if he was talking to anybody else without him knowing. Kimber, here, this dog. Thank you. I think that that's why she did that. And you heard him. He was like, "No, what if there's an emergency? We need to be able to call the police." He's like, "How dare you think that you're going to take me to a secluded area knowing you're a convicted murderer and not let me have my phone? Like, bitch, you crazy as hell. You ain't taking my phone from me." And I'm glad he said that because she's a danger. She was all passive aggressive with him, talking about, "Do you know what the entire point of disconnecting is?" And it's like, bitch, he spends 6 days a week at work. He's disconnected from social media. Like, when he's at work, the last thing he's thinking about is getting online and checking fucking TikTok to see what people are saying about him. Gypsy's the one that's sitting at home all day with nothing else to do but scroll on TikTok to see what people are saying about her. Oh, I said something like that too. Hey, Charlie. I said something about that they should have made Gypsy get her tubes tied before letting her out of prison. So I get that. And is it right for somebody to say that she should have aborted her baby? Probably not, but would it have been the best thing? Probably. I wonder what he's doing. I mean, he's working 6 days a week. He obviously doesn't want to be around Gypsy. Otherwise, why would he be working so much? It's not like they need his Uber money, if that's what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? He's clearly trying to get away from her to not spend time with her because he doesn't like her. No, she didn't. She talked about hiding the phones, but he said no to that. I don't know what he's doing. He said, and his mom said that she was bartending or that he was bartending. Thank you, Magic Tailflower. Raina said, I can't remember when, But I'm pretty sure I heard Raina saying on one of Morbid's lives that he was bartending. And if he's working 6 days a week, I'm pretty sure he's making pretty good money. I would make her sleep in another room. I would have like a padlock on my door and everything. I would not want her coming into my bedroom, period. Yeah, anything for sympathy and to like try to make everyone else look bad, not her. She has this way, and narcissists do this, where they try to villainize everyone in their life that disconnects from them. And it's a pattern. They do that because they don't want you to see that they're the problem. They want you to believe that everyone else is the problem, not them. And Gypsy is notorious for pretending like everyone else is the problem, not her. Like we all know that Gypsy's the problem, but Gypsy wants everyone to believe that it's everyone else, not her. Thank you for the follow, Kathy. Thank you. It is strange that no one's made a video if he does work at a bar. Maybe he works behind the scenes where customers aren't. Maybe he's thank you, Brinkley. Maybe he's working like in the kitchen somewhere, because you can be a bartender but not be in the public. I used to work for a hotel, and they had bartenders that were specifically for like room service, and the bartenders would only do room service orders and food orders. So they would basically like make the food order and the drinks. So he could be in a position where he's not like working with the general public, like they don't see him. He's behind the scenes. That's a possibility. She's not bonding with that baby at all. I don't even think she likes the baby. I think she's ready to get rid of it, to be quite honest. I think she's done. She's like, okay, I got my baby fixed. Now let's move on to the next thing. I'm done. I only wanted to make sure that I could have a baby, and now I can. So now I don't want it. You know, that's how narcissists are. It's on to the next thing, on to the next thing, on to the next thing. You know, they're never satisfied with what they have. The baby is always crying when she's around. I would too if my mom was a murderer. We all know Gypsy's not a good person. The baby can sense it, just like I'm sure Parker does too. You saw, did y'all see Aurora, the dog? When Gypsy went to pet it, she like skirted off really quickly. Even the dog Aurora knows that Gypsy's a piece of shit. She's like, I don't want you touching me. And it seems like Mia has started to distance herself from Gypsy as well. And I have a lot of thoughts about Mia separating herself. Hey, Kane, how are you? Thank you so much, Skippy. You guys are so awesome for all the likes and all the gifts. I think Mia is hearing the truth from other people that are not within the family. So whenever you have a narcissist in the family, it's kind of like a cult. You know, it's kind of like the narcissist is the cult leader, and everyone else kind of falls in line with the cult leader because the cult leader is the one who's bringing in the money, right? Yes, it's very controlled. And now that Mia is somewhat out of that controlled environment because she doesn't live with them. She has her own job, she has her own boyfriend. And I think that her boyfriend has a pretty good head on his shoulder. Somebody said that they broke up. I don't know how true that is, but he seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulder. And I think that he kind of grounds Mia in a way to seeing things for what they really are. It's okay, Kane. I'm happy you're here. It's fine if you're in and out. We never hear about the brother because Dylan doesn't want to have anything to do with Gypsy. I'm even Gypsy doesn't really talk about Dylan very much, meaning she's not spending time with Dylan, and she hasn't been talking about spending much time with Mia either. And the last couple of times that you've seen Gypsy and Mia like interacting together on camera, it's been very one-sided. It's been very Gypsy talking about Gypsy and Mia trying to kind of be supportive but also be realistic. He is older than Mia, yeah. Yeah, this second season is nothing like the first season. Mia was heavily involved in the first season, and now we've only seen her in like 2 episodes. And I think that that's on purpose. I think that she's separating herself not only from Gypsy, but I also think that she's separating herself from her mother too. Because if you think about it, Christy and Gypsy enable each other's toxic behavior. Like they feed off of one another. And in order for Gypsy to get the attention that she gets, Christy had to put a lot of these things in place. And you cannot tell me that Christy does not know that the Munchausen by proxy shit was bullshit. Like, Christy has to know that all that was a lie, you know? I'm sure her dad probably doesn't know to the extent of what was true and what was a lie, but I think Christy knows that the Munchausen by proxy was a facade. She has to, because she said in several of the documentaries, she even mentioned that seizure that Gypsy had when she was 6 that paralyzed her. And then later on in that same documentary, she said that somebody told her that they saw Gypsy walking. And I believe they all knew that it was BS, but it doesn't matter what's true. It matters what people will believe and what people will pay for. And people are believing that she was a victim of Munchausen by proxy, and they're paying for it. They're paying for that story. So again, it doesn't matter what the fuck is true because they're paying for that specific story. So as long as people are paying for that story and believe that story, that's what they're going to continue to sell. Kind of like Octomom. I do think that baby Aurora needs her own attorney. And I think that in Louisiana, she can have her own guardian ad litem, somebody who is focused solely on the welfare of the child. And it doesn't have anything to do with Gypsy or Ken. And usually in high profile custody cases, there's usually a guardian ad litem given to the child. Thank you for the follow, JW. And I think that that's what would be in the best interest of Aurora. Yep. You heard that right, Kathy. The story is whatever they'll pay for. He was drunk when he said it, but a lot of times people speak the truth whenever they're drunk. And I believe that he really was speaking the truth. The story is whatever they'll pay for, whatever they will believe. Does not matter what the fuck is true. Because people would rather be deceived than admit they've been deceived. At least a lot of people anyway. I'm going to admit I was deceived. I'm not going to continue to allow myself to look stupid by believing a lie that I know is a lie. But there's a lot of people out there that will continue to be deceived just because they don't want to admit that they were bamboozled into a bullshit story, you know? Go get it. I believed it at first whenever everything first happened. I believed the lie. Why'd you put it over there, dog? I'm not even over there. This dog. All right. This is what he likes. He likes to throw his ball. There we go. It started raining, so I wasn't able to take him outside after he got his dinner. And that's what we normally do. We normally go outside after dinner so I can play with him and throw his ball around. But it started raining. I think that I started to believe that I had been duped before she even got out of prison. Like, I think it was the week before she got out of prison. I spent the entire week going over all of the documentaries, looking at the act, like every single interview that she had done while she was in prison. The week before she got out, I spent the entire week watching everything so I could learn as much as possible to make an honest opinion on whether or not I should like support that person. Oh, thank you so much, Onward. Thank you, Karen. And after doing all the research that I did, hey, Patience, I realized that wow, this is bullshit. He's got what I like to call a pony trim. So basically, his top knot goes all the way back to his his hip bone, and then he's got flared legs. And then when she got out and she started doing all those interviews, it was like, how dare you say, if you think about it, I had a part to play in it, but because I didn't actually commit the act, I'm not a murderer? Like, what? It was almost like she was trying to convince the audience to believe that she should be like forgiven publicly, because if you think about it, I didn't actually do it. I wasn't the one who did it. I asked him a question and he said yes. I'm a good girl. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't murder anybody. And as soon as she said that in the interrogation, I was like, yeah, she did. Because why would you immediately go to, when people see you in handcuffs, they look at you like you did something wrong? And I didn't murder anybody. I don't do drugs. I don't do anything. I'm a good girl. Because you can get arrested for a lot of different things, not just murder. Like, thank you. The PJs are cute. They come with little pockets too. They're silk pajamas that I got from, where did I get them? Petite Plume. They're so comfy to sleep in. So comfy. I don't sleep with the shorts on, but I do sleep with the shirt on. Yeah, she planned the whole damn thing. That's what mind boggles me. It's like, how can these people on the internet so adamantly say like she had no other option? This bitch had access to the internet. She had a phone. There were so many other things that she could have done besides murder. Like, murder is literally the very last resource. The CPS came to the house, and she didn't mention anything to CPS about being abused. So it's like, how can you say that you had no other option when you literally didn't accept any of the options that you did have? You could have contacted CPS and told CPS whenever they came to your house. You could have used your phone to call for help to some family member, the cops, anybody. You could have used your internet to devise some sort of plan to escape rather than commit a crime. But because her mind, hey Christy, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. I'm so glad you're here. But because her mind is so deranged, it immediately goes to violence. Even whenever she was talking about Ivory Rose Grows Wild on the last episode, she said, I'm not able to have any weapons. That was the first thing that her mind went to. I can't protect myself. I'm not allowed to have any weapons. Not, I can't protect myself because I'm pregnant. I can't protect myself because I can't have weapons. That tells you like what kind of person that you're dealing with. Oh, I must not have seen you the other day. I'm glad to see you back. She says she has mace. She's probably so stupid she'd mace herself with it. She's an idiot. Doesn't know how to work anything. Probably too lazy to figure out how to work the fucking mace. So she did. So if you guys don't know, Gypsy has a lot of alternate accounts on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Like, she's got so many alternate accounts that it is literally a full-time job for her to keep up with people online. And one of her online like accounts on YouTube is Ash Blonde 6. So if you're ever on YouTube and you see somebody commenting under Ash Blonde 6, that's Gypsy. Gypsy commented something on my most recent video. I'll read it to you. Yeah. She definitely got what she wanted, and I believe that the entire time Gypsy kind of knew that if she unalived her mother, that there could possibly be infamy from that. Oh, excuse me. How do I find it? This dog, he'll run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, let me find it. Hold on, buddy. Okay, she commented twice. It's Ash, no 6 on the end. Ash Blonde without the E. She commented, so somebody wrote, you're right. A lot of people are talking about how deeply concerned they are about the baby. I am too. I hope it's true that she can't be left alone with her. Gypsy's alter ego wrote, "Well, it's not. You don't need to worry. Her mom, which is Gypsy, has her, and no, CPS is involved." That was Gypsy. And then the next one she writes, "Oh, so you knew Dee Dee and what happened in their life when no one was around except her and Gypsy? Wow, I didn't know. And with all the spelling errors, like, it's fucking Gypsy." And Angel Baby, she does content on Gypsy sometimes too. And ain't this same person commented on one of Angel Baby's videos, and basically what she was commenting was as if Gypsy was making the comment herself. Like it was coming from Gypsy's mouth and being typed and put in the comments. I threw the ball. It hit the wall and it bounced back and it hit my dog in the nose. Yeah, so if you're ever on YouTube, Ash Blonde is Gypsy. I don't know what her alternate accounts are on TikTok because I don't really ever have time to like figure it out, like go through the comments and see, but I know that she has a lot of alternate accounts. I think Demona, Ruby, Kitty, Candy, I think they're going to be back before June. Definitely pay attention to that, JLW. I think that all of her alter egos are going to be back way sooner than we expected. I mean, we're already starting to see them now. Do we know which is which? Probably not. Like, if you had to guess, who would you think is the one that's doing the dance trends? Like, who would you think that personality was? I would probably say maybe that's Kitty. Yeah, no, because Candy's sluttier. Candy's supposed to be like the slutty one. I have a standard poodle. So in my mind, I would think that the one that is doing the dances and acting like a little girl is Kitty. Christy, you could be right. You could be right. Christy says she thinks she's Demona through and through. Like, everyone that we see is Demona. And that's a possibility because she is like so unhinged, you know, that maybe like her actual personality is Demona and all these other ones that we're seeing are the alters. That Gypsy isn't actually Gypsy. She's Demona. Somebody said that they thought that Demona was like the motherly one. Thank you, Jess. Because in some of the Foia documents, it was written that Demona was the one who was out shoplifting for all the baby clothes. So maybe the one that we're seeing now isn't Demona because she's tired of the baby already. Oh, she's been drinking already. Yeah, for sure. She's been drinking already. She's probably not like drinking to the point of getting drunk because whenever you're on parole, if you get in trouble and you're drunk, it's a violation. but she's definitely been drinking at home, possibly having one or two, but I do think that she'll eventually like get blackout drunk and do something stupid. She was smoking pot before she got pregnant, right? I thought I heard I thought I heard her at Ken's and she was like lighting up in the background, like you could hear the lighter flicking on and off, like she was trying to light a bowl or something. That's what I'm saying, Christy. If she gets drunk, it's going to be like wow and out. I hope that that's live. Like that would be something interesting worth seeing. Her drunk on a live. It sounded like she was trying to light like a bowl though. Like if you've ever smoked pot, sometimes you have to light it a couple of times while you're hitting it to make sure that it actually lights up. Yeah, or a bong or something. It didn't usually when you light a cigarette it's one and you got it. But it's not normally like that when you smoke a bowl or a bong or whatever. You usually have to use your lighter a couple times. I hope she gets drunk the day she gets off parole and goes live. That would be something worth watching. Everything else she does is just like boring. It's like a fucking snooze fest. Like Jesus Christ. I think so too, Michelle. I think Mike Stanfield is like he's kind of protecting her from getting into real trouble. Hey, Violet. Some people get really violent under the influence of alcohol, and I believe she will. I believe she will. I was still thinking that the baby was Ryan's too. I don't know what exact date she gets off parole. Does anyone else know? I don't know the exact date. I just know she gets off in June. But in a live that she did the other day, she was like doing an exact countdown. 6:25. Yeah, she'll definitely let us know. She was already doing a little bit of a countdown in that live that she did the other day where she was talking shit about Parker's hair. Oh, that would be crazy if it was on June 9th. That would be so crazy. I got a piece of skin. I might have to get some tweezers. June 9th was the day that they actually committed the murder, right? And she was caught on the 15th. Or was it June 7th? I thought it was the 9th. Yeah, that's what I thought. So what somebody told me was the reason why they kept putting it as Dee Dee died on the 9th was they they said that the crime happened somewhere between the 9th, midnight on the 9th to 6 o'clock that morning on the 10th, that it happened sometime during that time frame. And because it happened during that time frame and they were unable to give like an exact time, that's why they just wrote that it happened on the 9th. Because there's no way to know exactly the time and the date of which it happened, since they didn't call in about the crime until, the 15th or so. Hey, Jamie. I'm sure Mike Stanfield was the one who put in for early release for her. I mean, he's their fucking manager. Like, how weird is that? Hey, Tiffany. I think it's weird that Mike is her manager. I think that has to violate some sort of ethical code. Like, how can you be her attorney, handle that case, and now be her manager? It has to be there has to be some sort of ethical violation there. But how much money would you lose your integrity for, I guess, is the better question. What's your going rate? I don't know what they're getting paid, but they've definitely sold their integrity, their morals, and compromised their character for this person. So how much money would it be worth you for you to compromise your morals, your integrity, and your character? Come on, everybody. How much money would it take? How much money would it take for you to compromise everything that you know about yourself for the dollar bill? How much money would it take? For me, you'd have to give me life-changing money. Like life-changing. Not just my life, my family's life. Meaning generations of families would not have to suffer in order for me to compromise my integrity, my morals, my character, and everything about me. And to be like associated with a convicted murderer. You'd have to give me, 3 generations worth of life-changing money. Because I'm not going to do it for $100,000. Like, that's bullshit. No. Fuck off for $100,000. I mean, I would never murder anybody, but to be associated with, because that's what everyone else has done. Everyone else has compromised their morals, integrity, character to be associated with Gypsy Rose, the murderer. And they've all gotten paid to do it. We already know what Gypsy's character is because she's a murderer. She didn't compromise anything. That's who she is at her core. Who said he had bad morals? He's associated with a murderer. He has bad morals. He's managing the career of a murderer. He has bad morals. Clearly. Has lost some integrity over getting paid. Hey, Janie. Somebody reported me for harassment. I don't understand how she has followers either. But clearly one of her followers just reported me for harassment. $10 million. Yep, that's a good price. But is $10 million 3 generations of family changing money? Probably not. Yeah, exactly. When you lose your integrity, you're nothing. Like you are a shell of a human being because you've basically given up everything that you believe in for money. And money is not tangible. It's fickle. Money comes and goes. So if you don't have integrity and you don't know what you stand for, who are you? You would compromise for anything if you would compromise for a dollar bill. You know? I'm just not that way. Like I'm going to stand up for what I believe in and you're not going to pay me to stay silent. And that's probably why I don't have, 10 million followers because I'm not going to just be anyone to make money. What do you mean you don't believe everyone has morals? Most people do have morals. Most people have an idea of what they will or won't do. Is he good, Betty? Hollywood is definitely like that. Lots of people selling their soul for money in Hollywood. Lots of people. And that's scary to think about, too. I think Nick did care more about Gypsy's mom than Gypsy did. Bad behavior is always celebrated. You know why? Because it garners attention. And that's why she's able to monetize so well off of this crime because it garners attention. People, they know that people are going to be interested because she killed her mom and because she is now out of prison because of the plea deal that she got. So they know that people are going to be interested, and that's all they care about is keeping interest. It doesn't matter at what cost, as long as they're making money. He's got one of those little yaks. Have y'all seen those? What's it called? They're called yak chews. I went to the Atlanta Pet Fair and the guy that I got it from, he was like, "Oh, that'll last them about a week." And I was like, "Bullshit, he can chew through one of these bones in a day." I was like, "No way that yak chew is going to last longer than a day." And he's had it. He's had it for 3 weeks now. It's something that he can chew on and then go back to see it. So this is the yak. This is what the yak chew looks like, and this is a regular bone. This bone he can chew through in a day, the whole entire thing. But this, I mean, this shit is rock fucking hard, rock hard. So it takes him a good long time to get through that yak chew. He loves it though. Does anyone still believe in the 10 Commandments? I mean, yeah, but everybody breaks them. Everybody breaks the 10 Commandments. There's no perfect person on this earth. However, there are some of the 10 Commandments that I personally wouldn't break, but nobody's perfect, Nobody's perfect. We're human. We're going to make human error. But what's the line, right? What's the line? I know what I know where my line is. I'm not going to commit murder. I'm not gonna unalive somebody. I'm not. That's my line. I'm not gonna cross it. I'm also not going to compromise my integrity for money. Like, I'm not going to do that. So that's a line I won't cross. But everybody's line is different. It's a personal thing. Right. I appreciate having my life where it's calm, it's quiet, it's peaceful. I mean, listen to what's going on in my house. Can you hear what's going on in my house? Listen to how quiet it is. It's so nice. I grew up in a home where there was constant yelling, drunk people coming in and out of the house, crying, chaos, and just hectic shit everywhere. And now that I have my own home, I really appreciate the quiet. I could sit here just like this in the peace and quiet, listening to my dog chew his yak, because I appreciate the calm, the quiet. I don't like drama at all. I mean, everybody has a little drama in their life, we can't avoid it, but I'm certainly not out making decisions that create more drama for my life. No, you weren't being mean. I was just answering the question honestly. I don't think that was mean at all. They have some of these little yaks. They have some for small dogs too. They're like this big. It was a great question. I thought so too. Exactly. You don't keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're supposed to learn. So at some point, you have to stop doing what isn't working and start doing something else. So the little ones are probably a quarter of the size of this. And I bet you could get them online. And I bet one would probably last a month. Hey, Katie. Thank you. He's had that yak chew since I got back from Atlanta, which was the first weekend in March. So he really loves it. These I got from Petite Plume. And they're all silk pajamas, but they have some that I think they have some that aren't silk. I just like the silk because I get really hot when I'm asleep, and these keep me nice and cool whenever I'm sleeping, which is nice. It does. It feels so good on the skin. Like, just so smooth, so soft. And it keeps you, I think it keeps you feeling comfortable. I have not. I haven't even heard of that brand. I'll check it out. Hold on. Let me type that into my browser so I don't forget. Found it. These are a little bit on the pricey side. I will say that. These are a little on the pricey side. Really? I'll have to reach out to them. I love pajamas. I'm always looking for new pajamas. I will. I just looked it up online. Thank you, everybody, for liking the live. I'm going to go so I can start getting ready for bed. I'll be back tomorrow night. We didn't even read any of the Foia, you guys. That was the whole point. That was the whole point. There's some days where I get online and I'm like, yeah, that's what we're gonna do. And then it just doesn't happen. I was gonna start reading the new Foia documents, Katie. From Nicholas Godejohn's trial. There's a lot of information in there about Gypsy and her sexual fantasies and her desires, and a lot of the videos that she was sending to Nicholas. That's another thing too. For somebody who claims that they were so secluded and did not have any access to the outside world, how were you able to make 20-minute long videos masturbating and nobody hear you? If you were like this person who was completely isolated and your mom was hovering over you, watching you all the time, how did you have 20 minutes to masturbate on a video and send to your boyfriend and not get caught? You're not seeing any of the comments. It's probably because I got flagged for harassment. That's why I'm getting off. It does that. It does that sometimes. All right, I'm going to be back tomorrow, 7:30, 8-ish Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's so nice to have somebody to talk to. Especially about this shit. Like, nobody in my real life cares about Gypsy Rose, you know? Nobody cares, and they all look at me like, why are you so invested in that? And I'm like, you don't understand. Why wouldn't you be invested in something like this? She literally has influence on our children. It's like we should care who influences our children, especially online. Why would you want a murderer to have influence over what your child is thinking, seeing, doing, and believing? Like, yeah, it was hundreds of videos, Harriet. Hundreds of videos. Yeah, I can. I haven't done a panel live in a really long time because the last few times that I did a panel, people were just like over talking and not allowing other people to communicate, and it was a little annoying. So I kind of took a step back from the panel, but I'd love to actually start another panel. No, you were not blocked, Kane. You're not blocked. Mm-mm. I don't block anybody. I think it's just because I got reported. I got reported for harassment. That's why I'm ending the live. Because I got reported for harassment. I don't think it's anything that you did, Kane. All right, I'm going to go. I will be back tomorrow, 7:30, 8-ish at night. I'll see you guys then. Y'all have a wonderful evening.